Hello everybody, welcome back for another video. I hope that you are all doing well and that you are all having a great day. Welcome back to another edition of News That I Missed, where I go over news that I missed because so much stuff is happening in the cryptocurrency world. I cannot cover all of it during the week, and therefore I go over it in the weekend or on the weekend or during the weekend, however you kind of want to say it. Without further ado, let's begin. The crypto industry unicorn known as Coinbase has aggressive growth plans for its newly opened New York office, which caters to institutional clients. The digital asset exchange plans to expand the operation to 150 employees next year from 20 currently. According to the company, the slump in cryptocurrency prices this year has not quelled institutional demand for this asset class. They said when we saw the market begin to correct, which we all expected, institutions didn't lose interest. Adam White, general manager of Coinbase Institutional, told CoinDesk it was exactly the opposite. He said, they look at it as an opportunity to enter when things are not too frothy. Many of the local staff members were hired away from traditional financial institutions, such as the New York Stock Exchange, Barclays, and Citigroup. First of all, Coinbase is kind of insane. They were just a small company just a couple of years ago. I think in 2016 and the beginning of 2017, they were receiving a large amount of support. I want to say a lot of people were pushing money into their company, and now not only are they one of the largest, if not I think the largest crypto exchange in the entire world, they're also trying to get a banking license. They're also trying to be able to deal and or buy and sell and hold securities. And now apparently we also had news, this we knew from quite some time, that a lot of people who were in the traditional Wall Street type of financial game, they've all been leaving the banking industry and they've been moving over to cryptocurrencies. And this is one of the reasons why I'm still extremely bullish on cryptocurrencies, and I think I will be for probably another 20 years or so. So pretty much what it comes down to is you have to look at the indications in the market. The stock market has been going up for about 10 years now. We were just talking about this, actually the 10-year anniversary of the market crash in 2008 that almost ruined and decimated the world's economy. A lot of these people, when you look at the prices of current stocks and you see that they've been going up for 10 years and the indications are that they're going to continue going up. We had analysts a couple of days ago who I think I was watching CNBC or something like that, and they were saying that they believe, according to their estimations, that the current trajectory of the market shows them that things could still be continuing in this way until around 2020, potentially 2021. And it makes you wonder why they would be leaving this industry that at least maybe has another 2 years of wonderful growth for cryptocurrencies, especially as the prices have completely gone down. Well, not the last couple of days, but the last 9 months or so, while prices have been slowing down or completely tumbling. Why would people from Wall Street trying to get into crypto? It's because by all estimates, by 2020, 2021, maybe 2022, crypto is expected to have eclipsed the entirety of much of the world's economy, especially when it comes down to stocks, bonds, and even when it comes down to debt, i.e., crypto will be larger than the world's debt. These are just all estimations. Obviously, no one knows exactly what's going to happen in the future, but it's very indicative of the future of how big cryptocurrencies could be, or the crypto industry space could be, because of so many people from traditional finance all around the world, not even just on Wall Street. They're all leaving banking and they're moving into cryptocurrencies. I mean, to be fair, I was telling someone that before. People were asking in the comment section, this was a couple of days ago, and someone was saying, why would you leave your comfortable job as a Wall Street banker? And I said, on a good year in stocks, you may get around, let's say on a good year, like maybe 16, 22%, trading really, really well and, knowing exactly what you're doing. But in cryptocurrencies, you can get around 43% on certain days in a 24-hour period. So it's kind of, especially when we have certain coins that we have in the market right now, they fell by like 90%. And by all estimates, even some of the coins that were like, let's say $1.40, and they're now like 9 cents or something like that. Even if it just goes to 18 cents, you've already made back 100% of the money that you already put inside of it. And should that coin even go from 9 to 90 cents, you made 1,000% profit, and that would have taken you multiple years, probably maybe even a lifetime of having invested in stocks or bonds or mutual funds, or sometimes even in hedge funds. Next up, Line, which is the messaging app giant from Japan, has unveiled plans that will see it launch an ambitious token-powered ecosystem by the end of 2018. Aimed at capitalizing on the company's big user base, Line claims to have more than 164 million monthly active users across 4 key countries. The plan is centered around its previously announced Link token, supported by a $10 million venture fund and a newly launched cryptocurrency exchange. Line has already said its initiative will heavily focus on the development of decentralized apps, or dApps, that are tied to the Link blockchain. The plan as a whole represents one of the most notable enterprise level efforts of 2018 to apply blockchain to mainstream use cases. Line is hoping that its Link token will serve as the fuel for a wide range of consumer-facing applications, from payments to restaurants and other services to the serving of online content. So Line, much like Kik, I think it's Kik, yeah, K-I-K, they're kind of very similar, and I think this is exactly where the future is heading. Remember, I mentioned 3,800,000 other times before about people keep thinking that what's going to propel crypto forward is some type of an app. And a lot of people were thinking that it was going to be some type of a new app, but it appears, at least to me, what I think is going to happen is it may not even be Line, it may not even be Kik, but the idea is that if millions of people are already using your platform and you can somehow integrate a system, let's say for instance, Instagram ends up making like an Instacoin, and every time you post a story, every time you get over 1,000 likes, every time you get over 1,500 views on your Instagram story or whatever is happening on the platform now, let's say you got paid a couple of dollars, and this continued to accelerate every time you posted something new. But what ended up happening is that you're getting paid for your content that you're putting out there, but what's happening is that other people are also more active on the app. And the thing that gives apps value, or what is seen as valuable and when you have an app or when you have some type of a platform that people are using, is their what is it called, like retention. As long as they as long as they stay on the app or are using the app, this is what is seen as something that's good. This is why you may have noticed on a lot of the games that you play, when you win something, let's say you win a level, they encourage you to continue playing because you'll win something else. You'll win another badge, you'll win another something. It's all about keeping everyone continuously engaged. And I'm pretty sure if Line ends up picking up as well as the Kik token, I'm more than certain I think at some point we're going to see an Instacoin. I don't use Snapchat, but I can definitely see them integrating some type of thing. This also falls in line with a lot of other apps. I don't know if people are using them depending on what country that you're in. There are a lot of like live streaming apps where you can live stream your entire life. It's like a vlog, but not on YouTube. It's just kind of something that's on your phone, and that's, you can let other people around the world see what you're doing. Some of it's kind of interesting. People like putting on makeup and stuff like that, or dancing around their room, or girls telling guys they hope they have a nice day, but people end up donating like hundreds of dollars to them. So that if this ends up picking up, and whatever, I'm going to move on from this. You kind of get what I'm saying. It's very interesting the way that cryptocurrency is moving, or rather the way that you can have a job, the way that you can actually make money. Because if this does pick up and we have other platforms like, once again, Instagram, that allows people to be paid for putting photos up and then getting engaged with them, and putting up videos that other people are also watching. It could be, this is kind of another way that people could be able to make money as AI and automation eventually take over. That's kind of how I see it anyway. This one's quite interesting. A Bitcoin mining company formed from a U.S. private equity firm plans to begin building a 36 megawatt farm in Morocco from January next year. This is Ars Technica reported on the 18th of September. Soluna, the product of New York-based Brookstone Partners, intends to leverage local laws by eventually selling at least 20% of its electricity output back to the Moroccan government. The scheme, known as a Power Purchasing Agreement, or a PPA, will enable the company to establish a foothold in the region with the possibility of expanding sales beyond the border in future years. They talk about the energy, efficiency and stuff like that, and solar powered and blah, 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 blah. When a lot of people question me, or not even question me, a lot of people always have ideas about the cryptocurrency future, or where the market is going, or how crypto will survive and expand and exactly where the entire industry is going. And it's stories like this that kind of let me know that crypto really isn't going anywhere, for what it's worth. Also, that probably Bitcoin isn't going anywhere. There's so much focus right now, and it's important to pay attention because the amount of big players who've gotten into the cryptocurrency space as prices have been falling, and the amount of interest in creating mining farms around the world and finding like perfect spots to be able to do it, whether you're trying to go to South America in order to get the very cheap electricity, or you're going to Canada, or you're going to Alaska, or you're going to Greenland or Iceland to try and have quiet spaces where they can also have cheap electricity. There's so many people getting into the game, and as this continues, it makes me really wonder exactly what the price of Bitcoin will be by the time we hit 2020. I don't know. That's another, I guess, conversation in itself as far as like where Bitcoin's price will be and exactly where everything is going to go. But when we have so many major players getting into the game, and this is, keep in mind, this is the news that we are given, quote unquote, as it were. You know, this is the news that we are allowed to hear. I've said before myself, rather not even myself, we've seen it before in articles. We know that governments are mining Bitcoin. We know that other institutions and banks and stuff like that are mining cryptocurrencies. And I wonder how many other players in the game are also creating their own mining farms and stuff like that in areas that we may never even, it could be in Australia, it could be in New Zealand, it could be somewhere in Africa, wherever you can get very cheap solar energy. But I feel like it's leading up to something where, remember I said before, I think some of the richest countries in the entire world will be the ones who not only allow this, but also participate in it. Because if we enter a future, once again, where Bitcoin is worth $1 million or even millions, and you've allowed other countries or companies or whatever to get inside of your land and whatever, I'm going to move on from this. It's all very interesting, at least to me. I think this shows me exactly where crypto is going, because if you pay attention, there are at least a couple hundred of these Bitcoin mining farms, and they're not started by normal people. Like, it's not normal people who have 10, 20, 30 million dollars to be able to shell out to create one of these things. I'm pretty sure a lot of these are, if they're not backed by banks, which I'm pretty sure they are, they're probably backed by governments in some way or something like that. It's kind of difficult, and it's not easy to be able to buy an enormous plot of land, put containers on it, and then throw around 50, 30, 40,000 computers inside of it. You need a lot of planning and a lot of paperwork for that. And typically you end up getting in good with people if you are buddy with their government. I guess I can kind of say it that way. Anyway, I think the mining of cryptocurrencies is going to be completely insane within the next couple of years. And if you are into it, if you look at old videos on YouTube, especially from around like 2012, 2013, like you can type in like Bitcoin mining or something like that and do like the YouTube thing, like how far back do you want to go? I found videos before from 2012 and 13, and I was watching old videos about people talking about mining Bitcoin, and they were like, yeah, it's kind of, it's not too great. I'm making maybe about like, $7 a day. It's not really a lot, and I don't really like, people were mining like 0.05 Bitcoin per day and stuff like that, and they were like, it's not a full Bitcoin, because at that point the price of Bitcoin was so low that it seemed like, what a problem. And when you finally like move up further in their videos to see exactly what they had, at some point they all stopped mining because they were like, yeah, guys, it was great. I had the computers on for about 6 months, and I only mined about 20 Bitcoin the entire year. And it's like, that's not a lot of money for the electricity. And now you look back and you're like, if only they had kept that computer on. There's also old stories on Reddit of people who were like mining like half a Bitcoin a day, and this was far back when Bitcoin was like $1, and people were saying, mining something for 50 cents a day, it's just not worth it. And now you realize that was like $3,500 that they were getting every single day. So just imagine all these mining farms and people getting into Bitcoin and cryptocurrency mining. If the prices hit like realistically, should Bitcoin hit $1 million, 0.01 is still $1,000. Is that right? 100,000? Yep. That's 10,000. No, that's $10,000. That's 10. Yeah. That's exactly what I'm talking about. So I wonder exactly how rich a lot of these companies will be in the next couple of years. Anyway, enough talking about Bitcoin mining. Let's move on. Right. Talking about all of this and the altcoins and stuff like that. Without having to read into the article, the last couple of days have been quite interesting, to say the least. A number of coins have been shooting up, and if you noticed on CoinMarketCap, Bitcoin's dominance was around, it was almost 56% at one point, and I think right now, at least now at the time of me making this video, I think Bitcoin's dominance is around like 51%, maybe moving towards 50. Bitcoin, while popular, I told you guys this before, altcoins are more popular collectively, even though Bitcoin's dominance is what it is mathematically. I get the numbers. Altcoins are going to have a very interesting future. And I told you guys before, I don't think the crappy altcoins, if I can call them that, are going to have a very bright future. But as far as the other coins that we hear about every single day, and the other, we hear at least about 15 to 25 different altcoins on a weekly basis, maybe sometimes depending on the coin. When the market does eventually start picking back up, these coins are once again, I think, going to start taking a large part of the market share of Bitcoin in 2017. If I'm not mistaken, I might be mistaken. I think Bitcoin's dominance was around like somewhere floating around the 30 percentile, somewhere around that number. And I think that's only going to continue. We saw what happened at the time, of me making this video. For what it's worth, you can say what you want. XRP started the most recent bull run of this week. I wouldn't really call it a bull run. I want to say the run up. Expectations of XRapid and what have you, the price started going up, and then you realize that every other coin also started going up. But what was interesting to note is that while all the other altcoins were up, Bitcoin was still, it was barely up by 1%. Sometimes it was actually in the red as other altcoins were pushing up in price. Very interesting to think that we could, remember we were talking about like decoupling and stuff like that, and we were waiting for this time when altcoins would finally be able to break apart from Bitcoin. I want to say that this is happening. I've seen other people's crypto YouTube channels, and this isn't me talking down about them or talking against them. I know there's so much hope that we have officially decoupled from Bitcoin. I don't think that it's happened yet. I think we're going to have at least, let's say a 4 or 5 week period where prices are not following Bitcoin at all. I want to say even, let's say Ethereum, XRP, EOS, maybe Litecoin. What else is there? Let's say the other top 15 coins. They need to move independently on their own. This was a great start. Believe me, it was very welcome to see this. You guys know I have a soft spot for XRP, but I also love Ethereum, and Bitcoin's my friend. I don't hate it. I definitely believe in it. I like the original core principles behind it. I definitely think it's something that's going to be around for quite some time, but I do think that coins need to be able to move on their own, and hopefully we end up getting some of this once XRapid is activated, once we get the actual upgrades on Ethereum. There was also some other talks that someone's trying to update Litecoin with something that'll not break it away from Bitcoin, but that'll make it its own coin kind of thing, so it can be on its own and show that it has some moxie or whatever you kind of want to say. Anyway, the point is, this is going to continue happening, but I wonder to what extent is it going to happen. I wonder if we reached a point in 2017 where altcoins completely lost their minds and started shooting up, if we actually get institutional money flowing into the space. We've heard a lot of people talking about they're getting into Ethereum. We know the banks and or institutions or whatever getting into XRP, Litecoin Summit, blah, 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 happening with Litecoin, and other people who are supporting EOS and all these other things. These are people who have large, deep pockets. I wonder if we can get to a point where Bitcoin's dominance is around like 15% of the market. That would be very interesting, at least for me, simply because I still believe in altcoins collectively more than I do Bitcoin, if that makes a lot of sense. I believe in the future of Monero, XRP, maybe Zcash, Ethereum, especially Omise Go. You guys know I love Omise Go. And many other coins collectively more than I see the support for Bitcoin. But that's kind of at least how I feel about it, at least in my head. But it'll be interesting to see if we have this one day promised bull run coming, exactly how low Bitcoin's dominance will get, because we got it pretty low at one point. And this is when we had all the news last year of the flippening event where Ethereum was supposed to flip with the price of Bitcoin. I think Ethereum came pretty close. I'm pretty sure you can find articles on that. If you type in like Ethereum, Bitcoin flipping in 2017. I think Ethereum was a couple like 100 million off or something like that, and then the market started tumbling down, but it was very close. A lot of people thought that it was going to happen on one day. Remember how when yesterday, a day before, when XRP flipped Ethereum for like a little bit, and there was like this like really weird hype? It was that same exact tense moment between Bitcoin and Ethereum, and then all of a sudden the market started going back down. I have my own ideas. I think the whales behind Bitcoin started selling off because they knew if they could sell off of Bitcoin, the rest of the market would plunge down. That's just kind of how I feel about it. Anyway, we'll see how the future unfolds or does what it does with itself. Anyway, moving on. Next up, IDO, has become the latest cryptocurrency startup to create a more stable token by tying its price to gold. The Switzerland-based startup says the ERC20 compatible token, dubbed the Econ, will sit alongside its multi-currency wallet and decentralized exchange, but perhaps most notably, each token will be redeemable for 1 gram of 99.9% fine gold, which the startup says will be stored in its vaults and audited every 90 days. They said people will be able to see the gold stored in the security vaults through a video camera. That's kind of cool. We will post a link on the website so everyone can control the gold. This was said by Natalie Ferrara, the startup's founder. She told CoinDesk in an email via a spokesperson. Fees for buying and selling Econ on the exchange will generate revenues for IDO in its form of IDO token. Blah, blah, blah. Ferrara also said that fees will be assessed if anyone wants to trade in their crypto token for an actual gram of gold. That's interesting to think that instead of just transacting in the gold itself, they're creating a cryptocurrency that's going to be tied to the gold that they actually have. I guess it maybe is similar to like in the old days, you were able to, if you had gold or holding gold or something like that, you could get like a gold certificate. And the idea of the gold certificate is that you'd be able to go to whoever has your gold or whoever issued you the gold certificate, hand it to them and be able to get your gold back. This isn't the first time that we've had cryptocurrency tied to the price of gold. Maybe I'm just old fashioned. I feel like I'd rather actually have the physical gold myself. I don't know if it's like I said, it's kind of the same with like a gold certificate. I don't really want to, if I'm going to invest in gold, which I don't, I feel like I'd rather have the actual physical gold. That seems a lot cooler than, I don't know. Anyway, we've had reports before that things like this were going to happen. Remember, every single, more or less, a large portion of the stable coins that we have right now, they are tied to the US dollar. We also had news that there was also stable coin that was tied to the Japanese yen like a day or two ago. And then we had news, or rather the original intent was, or the idea was, a lot of people were saying, why don't we tie stable coins to the price of gold? And now we have the news reports that people are thinking about tying stable coins to the price of very expensive real estate. I think people are trying to see exactly what's going on. I assume in 5 years, this is my thoughts, I think a lot of the stable coins that we have right now will have poofed and completely gone away, because I think everyone's trying to find like the right medium. Like, how do you make a stable coin stable? Because even Tether, to a certain extent, if you look at the price fluctuations, I think the lowest it's ever gotten was like 97 cents or something, like maybe 98 cents when it's supposed to be pegged to $1, but that's also because of the buy and sell and what have you. I think everyone is trying to do this. I don't know if stable coins pegged to the price of gold, maybe something in the near future. But if you are interested in this, it could be something very good for you, especially if you are into owning gold, but maybe you are not in the mood to hold it physically, or maybe just don't have the space to in order to, I don't know. But anyway, let's move on. Next up, candidates running for public office in the United States state of California may not receive donations in cryptocurrencies, according to a new ruling from the state's political watchdog. The Associated Press reported on Thursday that the Fair Political Practices Commission, or the FPPC, for the Golden State voted 3-1 on Thursday to prohibit political donations in cryptocurrencies, citing the difficulty of tracking the origin of such donations and concerns over political transparency. The decision follows a hearing in August, after which the FPPC discussed several election issues, including whether crypto should be allowed in political donations. The committee didn't reach a conclusion at the time, needing a longer period to fully understand the issue. There are a lot of countries around the world, not even states in the United States, that have begun banning crypto donations because they say I guess along the lines of exactly what California said. They don't know who sent it, which is part of the point of crypto, but also simply because a lot of people were saying that it's unethical. I think they're looking for any reason to not allow them. Certain places have actually allowed them around the world. I don't see any reason why you wouldn't allow. I understand corruption. I get it. I'm an adult. I know how the world works. But to tell people, it's kind of weird. It's like, imagine a country announcing, or rather the U.S. announcing, no, you cannot receive donations in US dollars, or like, no, you can't receive the euros because we don't know where they came from. I guess I see Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies more as money than people in the traditional world do. I guess maybe because I've been around it for so long and I talk about it all the time. I guess I see the benefits of it, or being able to transact in it, or allowing people to, once again, do what they want with their own money, or how they want to receive money. After a certain point, they're going to allow this. No one knows when. I haven't been to the future yet, and I don't live in California, so I can't really tell you a specific date. But I think things like this are like we are at the end of people trying to really push back. If you've noticed, so many people are not only getting into the cryptocurrency space, but they love the cryptocurrency space. They're opening up to the cryptocurrency space. It's no longer a discussion on should we just allow blockchain and ban cryptocurrencies. Everyone is finally falling into line with cryptocurrencies. At a certain point, everyone will probably start accepting crypto donations. But I feel like this is the period where they're trying to not do anything that they can, but it's kind of like if we don't have to, we shouldn't kind of thing. So if we don't have to have them accept Bitcoin donations and they could just accept US dollars, let them kind of do that instead. That's kind of how I feel about it. But I think it's kind of silly in its own way to bar people from sending in Bitcoin or cryptocurrency donations. It's all kind of weird. Next up. So without even having to really read anything, everything is kind of right here. Binance has added Tron to its pairings. I think they have something on there. Yep, this happened on the 19th of this month. They said that they're adding the TRX to BNB trading pair. Binance doesn't have any fiat pairings yet, but I'm pretty sure, hopefully, every coin ends up getting some type of a fiat pairing, at least in Euro, when they plan on adding that, and hopefully in the upcoming future. Alongside this as well, I don't have the actual article, an article anywhere about it. Tron has also just been added to the Exodus wallet as well. If you update your wallet, you should have it. I think it was on the latest update. They have added the Tron mainnet to Exodus as well. So if you have Tron on an exchange and you feel safer having it on your desktop computer, as opposed to having it on an exchange where you have to put in a password and you have to do all this other stuff to be able to access your funds, then you can definitely do that on Exodus now as well. I know a lot of people, I assume, are very excited about all the Tron listings. But there's been a lot of them in the last couple of weeks. I haven't mentioned them because they were on crypto exchanges that I've never heard of. You definitely have never heard of, like really obscure things. But this will also help to add to the liquidity of the market. I'm very excited for a bull run, not just because of making money, but because of I want to see if all these the last couple of months we've had at least 47 to like 55 different or new crypto exchanges that have been opening, that have been announcing their pairings, that have been announcing, what's going to be on it, or even like a lot of the other altcoins that had no pairings at the beginning of 2018. They're at least on 17, 18 different exchanges now, and especially new exchanges. The listing of XRP everywhere, the listing of EOS all over the place, the listing of Tron on multiple exchanges. I wonder how high the volume is going to be when before in 2017 we maybe had 7 platforms, maybe, where you could like trust and put your money and stuff on them and trade them back and forth. But now we're going to have at least over 100 by the time we enter around November. And this is also the time when the New York Stock Exchange is supposed to also launch their crypto exchange. That's going to be the big ticker. When we get official news of what the New York Stock Exchange is going to be listing on their cryptocurrency exchange, that is going to be a huge, huge moment for the prices of certain coins. I'm going to call it right now just because I have decoded how the rest of the world works. If the SEC hasn't given us any word onto anything, I'm going to say that the New York Stock Exchange, this is me, my own opinion, is probably just going to list Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Litecoin on their platform, and they will then announce that they'll announce and launch more in 2019. That's kind of how I feel about it. Anyway, that's the Tron, BNB / Exodus. You can now use them on these platforms. News. Next up, a group of United Kingdom lawmakers has called for more oversight and regulation of the cryptocurrency industry in a new report published on Wednesday, arguing that crypto assets have no inherent value, are extremely risky for retail investors, and are particularly vulnerable to manipulation. The report states that the introduction of regulation to the cryptocurrency space should be treated as a matter of urgency. The report comes roughly 7 months after the UK Treasury Committee first announced it would look into the benefits and risks of cryptocurrencies. The group wants to give the Financial Conduct Authority, or the FCA, the UK's top financial regulator, more authority to regulate crypto markets. The report notes that organizations of ICOs at present can exploit certain loopholes to avoid scrutiny from the agency. They said apart from drawing attention to the risks, that there is little the FCA can do to prevent individuals from being defrauded or losing their money. This is because most ICOs do not promote financial returns, but instead offer future access to a service or utility, meaning they fall outside the regulatory perimeter. End quote. A lot of the news that we've had from countries, and I wonder how deep this would have gone if we didn't have ICOs. A lot of countries continuously say that the reason that they are doing this is to protect people and to make sure that people aren't defrauded out of their money and or losing their money. But this all usually, they always have ICOs somewhere in the same exact paragraph. And I wonder if we didn't have ICOs, would there be this much of a backlash against cryptocurrencies? What it comes down to, I get ICOs and stuff like that. There was one ICO that raised $4 billion between 2017 and 2018. So I get that, but I'm pretty sure they were not legal, regulated, or people knew exactly what was going on. I'm pretty sure they had filled out paperwork. I'll put it that way. Countries continuously say that they are doing this because of ICOs, but I feel like it goes a bit deeper than that. If you read between the lines or even read the actual lines themselves, when you talk about greater regulatory oversight, or that there is a certain organization or centralized body that should have more authority over something that they did not create, simply because they believe that in the past they had control over everything and therefore they should continue to be able to do this. It's very gray for me. This is why I like when we have certain, if I'm not mistaken as well, the UK actually has this. They have a body of crypto exchanges or crypto people in the country who have bound together, and they are self-governing, if you will. They try to report back to the government on exactly what's happening in the cryptocurrency space. I don't know how well this is going to bode for the UK, especially when they're trying to control everything. But I mean, we've spoken about that before. Countries are trying to scramble to figure out exactly how to be able to I was going to say not control, but get a tighter grip on it to be able to figure out exactly what's going on. I wonder if they'll be able to do it without squashing it completely. That's not me talking negatively or thinking that they are going to squash the cryptocurrency space altogether. I think we're far beyond that when it comes to the money that's actually being there, that's actually building up the infrastructure. But I wonder if, I don't think we'll be here in about 2 years. I think in 2 years, a lot of this talk will have completely floated away. Just a matter of how deep they want to go and how harsh they want to make their laws. Especially, I understand ICO oversight. I kind of get that. A lot of people have been frauded and stuff like that. But when you mention little things like you want to control the entire crypto industry and stuff like that, that's where it gets very gray. And I wonder how successful things like this could be. I don't know. That's just my thoughts on it. Right. So, without even having to really get too much into it, we've spoken before about the entire Mt. Gox situation. Mt. Gox, for those who do not know or are new to the cryptocurrency space, a couple of years ago, we had a situation where we had almost no cryptocurrency exchanges. We had about 2 or 3 around the entire world. This is around 2010, 11, maybe 12, maybe early 12, What ended up happening was that Mt. Gox was the largest cryptocurrency exchange that we had more or less in the entire world. It stood for Magic the Gathering Online Exchange. It was a website that someone had used for a trading card game called Magic the Gathering. At some point, the website was no longer in use. They opened it back up, renamed it Mt. Gox, started trading Bitcoin on it. Hackers eventually realized how much Bitcoin was worth. I think Mt. Gox opened up when Bitcoin had to be around a couple of cents. By the time Bitcoin was around 15, 20, 30, 45, maybe even 100 US dollars, hackers started attacking it on a regular basis. I think by the third or fourth hack, if I'm not mistaken, everything kind of hit the fan. That's the nicest way of saying it. And the entire thing shut down. When it shut down, all of the money that was left inside of it, the person who was controlling it said that all the money was gone. Lo and behold, it was not gone. It had been actually given to a custodian who was actually holding the funds. Weirdest part was, we know today you cannot, let's say you have $100 million. Would you put that all on one computer? The answer is no. Even with $100 million, you'd probably take around $10,000, buy 10 different computers and divvy up the money. This is not what happened, so this is why everything went away. The person who is actually holding all the money right now from Mt. Gox is a creditor or something. Yeah, the Mt. Gox creditor. Yeah. He's holding all the extra cash, and the Japanese government has recently announced that they want all the money from Mt. Gox that was stolen or recovered or that was back on the website to be redistributed back to the people who lost their funds or had their funds stolen from them or had their funds frozen when the website went bust. The problem is that so many Bitcoin were part of this, what's it called? The refund that's going to happen for all of the people. It comes down to a lot of Bitcoin simply because this all happened when the price of Bitcoin was less than $500, $200. So Bitcoin's price has exploded quite a bit since then. The problem is that these people have been complaining, as well they should have, over the last couple of years because they don't have access to their funds. They don't have their money. Think of how life-changing your life could have been if you had bought 1,000 Bitcoin and they were $1 each and you had 1,000 of them, and lo and behold, you check one day and this website has completely crashed. And then come to find out that Bitcoin is now sitting around $6,000, $7,000. And then the Japanese government tells you you are going to have access to your money once again. I think, if I'm not mistaken, it's going to be paid out on a basis, I think of how many Bitcoin you had. I haven't read through the exact documents that the Japanese government has said, but logically, if you had 1,000 Bitcoin, I would hope that you would also receive back 1,000 Bitcoin. Pretty much. If you were to receive 1,000 Bitcoin with the price of Bitcoin being 7,000, you are receiving $7 million back into your hands. And logically, I'm pretty sure I would do this after 5, 6, 7 years of heartache and torture, especially realizing that you are going to get back $7 million back into your hands. The expectation is that a lot of people are probably going to sell off their cryptocurrencies. They will not care that the prices have gone up or that the prices could potentially go up. Logically, you would not care if someone told you you were going to receive $7 million and you potentially maybe had the chance in some sort of way in another 5 years to maybe make 100 million. You would go, well, that's great. I'm probably just going to sell off around 5 million right now so that I can buy a house, I can buy a jet, I can buy whatever other things that rich people end up buying. When these payouts happen, I think that maybe the number is somewhere around here. Yeah, the now infamous exchange was hacked for over 800,000 Bitcoin. Victims of the hack can finally make claims for the over 170,000 Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash because of the fork that have become a part of the Japanese court case. So, logically, it's expected that when these funds are handed back over, and first of all, I want the whole Mt. Gox situation to be over so bad. It's been going on for so many years, and it's really sad because a lot of people were actually excited when they thought that people would not get back their money because the market then wouldn't be flooded with extra Bitcoin. If we enter a situation, think of it this way. I think this is supposed to come to a head or be finished in May 2000. Yeah. February 14, 2019. That's when you're able to submit your request. But I think in March, April, or May is when the payouts are expected to begin to happen. Let's say we enter a time where other coins have decoupled completely from the price of Bitcoin, and let's say 120,000 Bitcoin flood the market, and on top of that, Bitcoin Cash as well. Because if you had 1,000 Bitcoin, you have 1,000 Bitcoin Cash. Let's say all of that ends up happening. What then happens to the price of Bitcoin? This is why it says may completely crash the market. That is a huge fear for a lot of people. If we have enough liquidity, if the New York Stock Exchange, the Swiss Stock Exchange, the Japanese Stock Exchange, the Jamaican Stock Exchange, and maybe 3 other ones jump into the game before we end up hitting May 2019, and we have a significant amount of liquidity in the Bitcoin market, we may have like a 15% drop. If there are days when people see, nothing happens, when people see that someone has moved the wallet, or the wallet that had 14, 15, 25,000 Bitcoin inside of it has moved to a crypto exchange, the price of Bitcoin will fall around 25% within like 2 days. People will completely begin to panic because someone moved Bitcoin. Imagine if 120,000 Bitcoin were moved over the course of a month and were all sold. That would be quite detrimental. I'm not too optimistic about any of this. I'm not going to even lie. I'm not going to lie in any way, shape, or form. I think should this happen and we don't have, and I mean like, we need like $90 billion of volume, if not more, per day on Bitcoin. Per day, if not more, for this to not have a major effect. But I'm also hoping that a lot of other altcoins have also managed to decouple, because that is not going to be a very good day. And heaven forbid should the sell-off happen and then we enter another bear market, and it's like the bear market of 2019 because of this entire sell-off. Hopefully, maybe this happens in the middle of a bull run and people who end up getting it completely don't sell at all. I guess that's the best case scenario. But as of now, mathematically, it is not looking too good for the price of Bitcoin. But to be fair, we have September, October, November, December, January, February, March, April, May, 7, 8, 9 months until this happens. A lot can happen in the cryptocurrency space in around 3 months. So let's see or hope that this doesn't cause everything to hit the fan, because that is pretty much what it looks like it's going now. Oh, so this is a good one. The New York Office of the Attorney General, or the OAG, has released a report on cryptocurrency trading platforms, finding that many are vulnerable to market manipulation and referring several exchanges to another agency for potential violations of state law. The NYAG's inquiry was launched in April, seeking voluntary participation from 13 of the world's most notable trading sites. These include Coinbase, Kraken, Bitfinex, Bittrex, and Binance, among others. The process carried forward in spite of the refusal to participate from some exchanges, as well as the then Attorney General Eric Schneiderman's resignation in May. The newly released Virtual Market Integrity Initiative report drew issue with a number of practices put in place by the exchanges, including methods for monitoring and preventing market manipulation. Indeed, the report states that several crypto trading platforms told the OAG that it was impossible to monitor or to prevent market manipulation occurring on multiple platforms, meaning that exchanges are limited in their efforts to police abusive activity, while noting that exchanges like Gemini are seeking the ability to monitor more effectively. Some platforms do appear to be taking steps to improve surveillance. Without reading any more, what it comes down to, I'm going to try and make this as interesting as possible. What happened was the New York Office of the Attorney General stated that he believes that manipulation is happening in the cryptocurrency exchanges. And he also said about a day or two ago, I don't have the article somewhere around here, he said that he believes that Coinbase is faking around 20% of their volume themselves. He said that he believes, or rather there's some organization or company or group of people that believe that Coinbase, that they looked into Coinbase and that 20% of their volume is being traded by themselves. Remember we had news a couple of months ago that there was news that there were certain exchanges that had multiple, wallets on the exchange. Let's say it had $8 million worth of Bitcoin. They would simply swap this back and forth between multiple accounts, and this would actually, if you did this 10 times, that's $80 million worth of volume that's being passed back and forth. They were saying that this was happening, and they said that Coinbase had done this, And Coinbase completely lost their minds. They said they, I think, showed records or something like that, that they were, how dare you even assume that we were doing this? And then also sometime this week as well, I don't know if it was this exact same office. It had something to do with New York. Some New York office called out Kraken, and I don't have the article here. I kind of wish I did right now. They more or less digitally cursed them out. They said, how dare you? This is why we left New York. It comes down to the New York State saying that you don't have the proper licenses to do this. You don't have to be able to do this. We didn't even know that you were operating here. You were operating here legally. And Kraken said, well, that's great. I'm pretty sure Kraken is now in another country, if I'm not mistaken. It was this entire big thing. And I told you guys before, I think it's so ridiculous. I don't understand, because you would assume logically that a country as rich as America and a state as rich as New York would be not more lenient, but New York is spitting in everyone's face when it comes to cryptocurrencies. I don't know what the end game is here. I don't know what the goal is. I don't know what they're reaching for. I don't know why they're so harsh against everyone, especially when you actually read the New York bit license and you see what it entails and how much paperwork that there actually is and how much you actually have to go through and how much scrutiny. And you pretty much, you have to report back to these New York offices for everything. And I mean, if you scratch your leg, you have to write a report and tell them that you scratched your leg on a Wednesday at 14:30 and you did this while it's really insane. And I don't get why they are so the way that they are. And I've said this many times before, and I'll continue saying it until we are past this point. The countries that smother you the most, or that tell you that you can't do something, especially when it comes to like this new technology, like it's not even like crypto's like 130 years old, or that people are doing like hyper illegal things with it. We had news a couple of days ago from many government agencies from all around the world who were saying that not only are terrorists not using cryptocurrencies, they find it ineffective because of the price swings. I think that, the average majority of people, even hyper majority of people, are using crypto for normal things. I don't understand what this desire to smother the cryptocurrency industry is. Maybe they think that this is how you get people to comply with you. They really don't get that this is more or less the nicest way of saying it. It's out of their control. They don't get it. I told you guys before, they can't control. If I send you money, if you send me money, this can't be controlled anymore. We're entering a world where people are going to be able to do with their money what they want whenever they want. And the only way that they can find to be able to control anything anymore is to try and smother cryptocurrency exchanges. And even more so, on top of that same exact topic, in a couple of years, we're going to have so many decentralized cryptocurrency exchanges that these crypto exchanges won't even matter anymore. I wouldn't be surprised if in 3 years, if Coinbase announces that they're also launching their own decentralized exchange, because they see where the shift is happening. All the governments and stuff like that who are trying to control crypto, it just comes down to they keep saying ICOs, which also at a certain point, if you nope, I'm not gonna say that. Nope, not gonna say that on camera. The last part is that when we have crypto exchanges that are decentralized and these government agencies can no longer control them because they are decentralized, and there's about 13,000 different points of there's no central point of control anymore when it comes to exchanges. What are they going to do? Like, I don't understand. Like, why are they? It's just really frustrating, and I'm pretty sure it has to do as well. If you can find the article, type in like Kraken New York on Google and do like the last like week. I'm pretty sure you'll find it. Like the guy from the owner of Kraken, he completely lost his mind. He was like, "How dare you? Like you're overreaching so much." Like I think myself, it has to do with wanting to continue to control. I get, or I understand why governments would want to do this, simply because they're used to being in control. And that's just how things have always been. But as we move to a more decent, when we hear things like the people behind Ethereum and EOS say like decentralize everything, they mean it. This is why I love these projects, because they eventually believe within the next 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years, everything that we have, everything that has value to humans, whether it be cars, whether it be stocks, bonds, mutual funds. You'll be able to decentralize all of it, and there will be no central point of control. And then what happens to these government agencies who are so used to smothering and controlling every single thing? It's very, we're on the cusp of something, and I wish that we weren't on the cusp. I wish that we were just inside the thing by now, but I guess this is part of the growing pains. It's so frustrating. Like, what is going on in the world that so many of these agencies are trying to hamper innovation, and these are the countries who are going to be left behind. We have so much good news from Switzerland, and even, where was it, Zimbabwe, like a couple of days ago, who was their finance minister was like, we should be just like Switzerland. Like, if you're open to this technology, you will be rewarded with it. When you try to push back, and no one has to launch a cryptocurrency exchange or do anything in New York. There are other states that are more crypto friendly. I think it was like Nebraska or something like that was like very welcoming to blockchain and cryptocurrencies. You can even get in a flight and go to Puerto Rico. Their taxation when it comes to you making a profit on crypto is like, I think 0% or something like that, 4%. Why would you want to take that abuse? It doesn't make any sense. Me personally, I don't get it. Maybe there's something else behind the scenes that I'm just not getting. But I think a lot of places, my personal opinion is that they need to get it together very quick, because crypto is going to leave a lot of places behind. And then when they finally do get it and they're like, oh no, we're crypto friendly, we're definitely open to it, everyone will have left. Everyone will be established in another country or even another state. I'm not understanding any part of it. It's all very, very odd. On that same exact topic, Bitfinex has launched an Ethereum-based hybrid cryptocurrency exchange called ETHFinex Trustless to give traders more security, privacy, and control of their funds, marking the foundation of what the exchange hopes will be a completely decentralized trading model, like I just said. The platform utilizes ETHFinex, which links centralized and off-chain book orders to give users full control of their funds throughout the trading process. I don't really need to read any more of this. These are going to happen. These are already happening. I told you guys before, a lot of the decentralized exchanges that I've used before have just been horror bad, like just atrociously horrible. But like all things, these things will eventually pick up. They'll get a lot better. Nothing stays horrible forever when it comes to technology. It may take a couple of years, and eventually we're probably all the idea is, especially from the people behind Ethereum and a couple of other crypto projects, that eventually we will all be using decentralized exchanges once they find a way to, how the cryptocurrency, how Bitcoin is able to function, or the blockchain is able to function, simply because of how decentralized it is. There is no single point of failure. Once they figure this out, get it all in order, and everything is decentralized, and let's say we have 50,000 points of power opening. I don't even know exactly what word I'm trying to look for when it comes to decentralized exchanges, and no single point of failure is there. We'll be able to use decentralized exchanges every single day without any problem. And then what ends up happening to all the other, it's oh my gosh, it's just so absolutely frustrating. I just realized that's not English. I was looking at that. I thought something was wrong with my eyes for a couple of seconds. I was like, why don't I know what these letters are? Okay, anyway, moving on. High Times, without actually having to get too deep inside of it, they announced that they're trying to have an IPO, which is an initial price offering. I think, oh my gosh, I think I remember that. Don't think I forgot it. Anyway, the point is, they're trying to go public on a stock exchange, and pretty much they're trying to raise funds for it. They announced that they would be accepting cryptocurrencies, and a lot of people got very excited. At some point, they announced that they were not accepting cryptocurrencies again. And then 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days ago, they announced that they were also going to be announcing that they would be accepting cryptocurrencies once more. Everyone was super euphoric. And then apparently they have removed the payment option once again from their website. I'm going to assume that it has to do something with regulations, that there's nothing on the books that says that you can list public offering. There we go. That you cannot list an IPO in funding through crypto. I think that's kind of what it comes down to. That will also eventually change in the future, but eventually it's believed that where IPOs may eventually die off, as well as everything becomes tokenized, and the stocks that you are even offering can also become tokenized, and therefore they can then be listed on websites eventually in the future, such as Coinbase or any other place that is then legally able to actually list tokens. So IPOs are eventually expected to become STO, security token offerings, but I guess that's sometime maybe in the future, 2, 3, 4, 5 years from now. But the fact that they keep adding and removing crypto payment options for their offering is kind of weird. I'm not really surprised. I guess a lot of people who could have or would have donated to them in the first place are definitely not going to be doing that now. The point is that they have dropped this along with many other places. I think they've been told by government agencies, and this is kind of how I feel about it, to drop it because of the legal gray zone. No one knows exactly what they are. No one knows exactly how they're going to be treated, at least in the U.S., because we've been receiving a lot of news from a lot of other countries, and we now know exactly how crypto is going to be treated in many other countries around the world, except for the United States. So, swinging over to Venezuela, the long story short is Venezuela is going through a very tough time right now. If you watch documentaries on what's happening in Venezuela, it is absolutely horrible. There are millions of people who are trying to flee the country because the current rulers of the country have all but destroyed the entire economy. While Venezuela is rich in petrol, that is gas or petrol for those who... Anyway, the country is not rich in other ways because of the government spending, and everything is kind of falling apart. On top of this, a lot of people in the country who are mining their own cryptocurrency simply because the value of their currency that they have in their country is currently going through, I think, like a 1,000,000% hyperinflation, which is horrible for everything. In the exact same time, the president right here announced that he was creating his own cryptocurrency called the Petro. This was back in January. A lot of people were very surprised and say, well, that's crazy. That's great. You know, let's hope that this gets the entire thing together. People in the government said that it was illegal. He said, I don't care. He created it. And then we had news about 2 weeks ago that he actually didn't create it, that it doesn't exist. When people are going to Venezuela and they're documenting or asking people in the streets how using the Petro is going, no one in the country has heard of it. We had news as well that the president had also mandated that every store, every shop, every airport, every place in the country is supposed to accept this cryptocurrency. And apparently no one in the country has heard of it. No one's using it. No one in the country knows that it exists. So we now have news that Venezuela is trying to get the Petro for global trade. But if it doesn't exist, if no one in the country, this has been like 2 months now that like all the mandates happened for people to actually use it. And now we have something that he's trying to get it used for global trade. If no one in the country is using it, and if it doesn't exist, how are you going to get people to use it in global trade? We had news before that Russia and potentially Iran, because of U.S. sanctions, were apparently in line with using this coin as well. But if the coin doesn't exist, I don't really know exactly what's going on. I don't think anyone really knows what's going on anymore. Apparently, I think it's listed on CoinMarketCap, if I'm not mistaken, but apparently no one's using it. Like, no one in the country actually knows that this thing exists. So let's see how this unfolds. I was listening to something a couple days ago, and the idea still is that, sadly, the Venezuelan economy is going to continue falling apart. I don't know exactly how. I mean, when you get to like a 1,000,000% hyperinflation, there's usually no turning back from that. My personal hope, I'll put it this way. I would like if Venezuela adopted Bitcoin or another cryptocurrency. But I guess Bitcoin's kind of cool. But it seems impossible. You can't really do it right now simply because we don't have Lightning. You know, an entire country can't use Bitcoin if it only has 3 to 5 transactions per second. And we probably won't get the full implementation of Lightning for another 2 years. So this could be happening for quite some time. Pretty sad what's actually happening there. Maybe they can adopt some other coin. But as of now, this fiasco might be going on for quite some time. That's the way that it looks, at least to me and a lot of other people who are constantly reading news about the Venezuelan situation. Last up, Tezos, I'm pretty sure I said that correctly, announced a couple of days ago that their mainnet had been launched or is launching. The Swiss-based cryptocurrency project, the Tezos Foundation, has announced that this mainnet will launch on last Monday, the 14th of September. They said that in a tweet. Have a good weekend, everybody, because mainnet arrives on Monday. On Monday, the beta protocol of the network will officially be over, as the protocol will become a full mainnet. Tezos introduced its beta network in June, calling the move an inflection point for the project. From that point on, users began validating blocks or baking after the first 7 cycles. So it appears that this has launched. This may have been overshadowed over the last couple of days by the altcoin explosion. And I think typically when you have, anytime the Ethereum XRP and like a couple of other coins are shooting up high, it kind of dwarfs any other thing that may be happening. I actually have no idea how high the price of Tezos has gone up. I can only assume. I think yesterday every altcoin was up like between like 10, 22, and like 45%. So I'm pretty sure they got a bit of a buzz as well. Anyway, for those who are interested in it, Tezos has officially launched. So I guess congratulations to you. Alrighty, everyone, that is definitely going to do it for this video. Hope you all enjoyed. Hope you all are having a great day, morning, afternoon, and or weekend. I hope you all find the chance to enjoy your weekend. Go out and see a movie. I don't know exactly what's out. I don't know. A couple new things have just come out the last like 2 days. I'm going to the cinema. Anyway, no one needed to know that. Hope you all have a great day. Thank you once again for all your support, and I will talk to you all soon. See you.